decision and do the thing in the right way, you will experience good things. If you don't, you experience bad things. Both are your own making. I am not interfering with any of it. So that is very, very important. So what happens? Jnanena tu tadagyanam yesham nashitamatmanah tesham adityavat jnanam prakasheti tattaram. So the one who has developed this wisdom, his ignorance is destroyed in the same way as when sun rises, all the darkness is destroyed. When the sun rises, all the darkness is destroyed. At once. Does it get destroyed one after the other? Everything is visible at once. That is what achirena tadi gacchati. Immediately you attain peace. You don't attain peace step by step. Immediate peace when you have that wisdom, jnana. Like sun when it rises, everything is visible at once, not one after the other. Same way, if the jnani, once he attains this wisdom, for him everything becomes so clear. No more delusions, no more doubts, no more illusions. That is the beauty of jnana. That's why again he's telling jnana is important. But what he's trying to say, this jnana can be attained through purification of mind, and purification of mind can be attained through selfless action, not for the sake of results, but sake of discharging one's duty. That's it, you do selflessly. So what kind of people, again it goes on to explain. I'm not going to go on repeating this thing, but this is another 18th shloka is important. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshina. Who is a true pandita? Who sees equal, who sees equality everywhere, who sees sameness everywhere. Where he is vidya vinaya sampanna, he is wise and also humble. Vidya dadati vinayam. If he's really wise, he'll be humble. Only if otherwise people are arrogant. Wise people are always humble. That is the hallmark of greatness, hallmark of wisdom, is humility. That is what say Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Those people who are like that, what they say in the Brahmins means the noble ones, in the cow, in the elephant, in the dog, and even those who eat dogs. It means people of a certain class, not so cultured and refined. In everyone, he sees the same thing, same oneness. He is a Pandita. That is a very beautiful definition. Pandita Samadarshinaha. Who is a Pandita means who is a man of wisdom? Samadarshina, who sees equalness or sameness everywhere. This is an important shloka, many people quote it. The idea is that that person sees the Atman. He doesn't see the external things. That's why when, see, we have such a huge organization and we have workers like sweepers or, even watchmen. And we also have vice chancellors and directors. I go and meet everybody with same love. In darshan, everybody has equal rights on me. If a watchman's child gets up and asks for a chocolate, I'll give the child also with the same love as the child of a minister who would come. Why? Because I'm not seeing him as a child of a watchman or child of a minister. I'm only seeing him as a child who deserves love and attention. I'm seeing the childhood in him, not whose child is. Like that, this yogi sees the Atman in everything, in everyone. Does not see the external differences. Therefore, he is equal-minded with all. He doesn't differentiate. For the sake of worldly interaction, you must give respect to certain people for certain reasons. But within yourself, you should not feel any differences. Externally, you have to perform your action. So that is the idea. Pandita Samadarshina. Now you don't say, what is it in examination? This is a dog. No, that is the picture of an elephant. Bhagavad Gita. Dog, elephant, Allah, unde, everything is same. He'll say yes, one big zero. But this is 0, 0, 1, 2, everything same. Wrong usage of Bhagavad Gita should not happen. Samadarshana should be within. Externally, you have to still behave according to people's position, status, or various responsibilities. You have to talk to them and behave accordingly. Within you should not feel differences. Within you should feel love only. Beauty is that the one who experiences this, he is Brahman here and now. That is what Krishna is going to tell. He says, Ihaiva tayarjitah sargo yesham samye stitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmani te stitaha. The one in this world itself, you don't have to go another world to realize this. In this world who has developed this kind of mind, stitam manaha, steady and pure and clear and wise, that mind, nirdosham is samam Brahma, he becomes as sinless as Brahman himself. Tatsmat Brahmani te sthita, and therefore they are always established in this Brahman sthiti. You don't have to go and become Brahman by going to another place. Here and now, the one who develops this kind of mind, who sees equality everywhere, equalness, my equal mind, who has no dualities, who has no ragadvesha, who is pure in his mind. Such a person is Brahman here and now. That is why I say, in only our Sanatana Dharma says you can become God. All others will call it blasphemous. No. Even, of course, in a Sanatana Dharma also, there are various ways of becoming God. Moksha is defined differently in Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita and various schools of thoughts. But the school of thought that we subscribe to, Advaita, it says you are divine as you are. You don't know. That's all is the difference. Once you know you are divine, how do you know? Your mind becomes pure, clear, steady. You know you're divine. It is so important that he says, that's an encouragement to us. The Bhagavad Gita, though it's a story between Krishna and Arjuna, so to say there is Dvaita, but Krishna is always about Advaita. I am only in all, he says. So such a person, what happens? Na prasheti priyam prapya, no jijate prapya cha apriyam. He doesn't get excited when he receives favorable results. And he doesn't get agitated when he gets unfavorable results. Unfavorable means what should have ideally been there. He accepts both, saying, okay, whichever way it has come. Like the real devotee, let me tell you, like somebody was fell from a bike, broke his toe. What is his message to me? Where were you when I was falling from the bike? No. His message is, thank you, Swami, for reducing the calamity to just a fracture in my toe and saving my head from splitting into two. See his attitude. That is the attitude of a devotee, a jnani. Yes, something bigger has been averted. And something, God has given me some small, simple pain and taken away a bigger calamity. That's the right attitude, right? So these people are like that. Sthira buddhi asammudho. They are complete sthira. They're steady. Every situation they are the same. They don't get affected. And they don't get deflected and distracted by things like that. Brahmavid brahmani sthitihi. Again, Brahmaveda brahmaiva bhavati. Mundakopanishad says. Same, Brahmavid brahmani sthitihi. Knowing Brahman, he is established in the sthiti of Brahman. That is the idea of our Upanishads, our Gita, our scriptures. You can be God here and now. Don't have to wait. But provided there is one condition, purity. Purity is required. Now, what is purity? Selflessness is purity. Develop complete selflessness, you become divine. There is no other criteria. But to become completely selfless and get rid of this I and mine is so difficult. Because from birth after birth, it has got accumulated in our head. Be selfless is so easy. I'm telling from my own experience, being selfless is so a feeling of such lightness. You feel so unburdened. I don't want to keep anything for myself. Anything if I keep in my cupboard, I say, it irritates me, it bothers me till I give it away. Unless I've forgotten about it, that's a different matter. But if I remember something, I can't keep it. Only that is a bare must necessity, I have to keep it. Even in good things, you should be equal-minded. Even bad things, you should be equal-minded. People praise, then they'll blame also tomorrow. In both the times, you should be equal-minded. So that is the idea. Selfless life is so delightful. And you have to experience it to know what I'm saying. And who can have this selflessness? Only two people can have this selfless life. One was realize the self, realize divinity. He can be selfless. Two, a devotee who is completely surrendered to God. He can be selfless. Third person cannot be selfless. So if you can't be God, be a good devotee, a true devotee who is completely surrendered. Atmanivedanam. And then also you can lead a selfless, fearless life. Otherwise, realize your divinity, even then you will become selfless and fearless. Do one thing or the other, but don't remain selfish, because selfishness is impurity. Impurity means you can't attain wisdom. If you can't attain wisdom, your karmas will bind you, and you will be born again and again, creating more and more karmas for yourselves. That is how the scriptures are giving us encouragement. And he says, these people, yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. 22nd shloka says, these people know these pleasures that come out of the external activities, or touch of the senses, in the sense whatever seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, eating, these pleasures are temporary. Ultimately, they give us pain only. Today it may look like a pleasure, but tomorrow you develop a craving for it and you can't get it, it becomes a pain. What is addiction after all? Somebody gives you something and then you eat it. First day it feels nice. Next day, if you don't get it, then you get restless. Imagine you were better the day before when you didn't have it and you were normal. Now you had excitement one day and next day you are depression. Then it becomes addiction. All the world is addictive. Anything is addictive. Fame is addictive. Name is addictive. Wealth is addictive. Popularity is addictive. Properties are addictive. Power is addictive. It corrupts. All the worldly things are addictive in some way or the other. So one day it gives you pleasure, next day it gives you pain when you can't have it, and you can't have it all the day. So then you work towards it, you make yourself miserable, more miserable. So all these are born, all the experience of the world are temporary. They have a beginning and the adya, antavantaha. They have a beginning, adya, and anta. They have beginning and end. Therefore, don't go by that. These jnanis don't go for them. What do? They do not enjoy these things at all. Enjoy means they don't put extra efforts to enjoy all these things, because that will make you miserable. It will make you miserable tomorrow. What gives you pleasure today? Remember in the second sloka, Bhagavad Gita sloka, second chapter also it says, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu. All this Shita, Ushna, whatever this Matra Sparshas to Kaunteya, all because of your senses only you experience all these things. So, Agama Payino Anityam, they come and go, they are temporary. Tam Titikshasu, just bear it for the sake of bearing it. Don't get involved with them, he says. So that is the idea. And he says, Shaknoti heva yah sodhum prak sharira vimokshanat kama krodhod bhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi nara. Who can be a happy person in this world? Despite all the distraction and all things, the one who is able to control these things before he dies. Kama krodha means loba, moha, mada, matsara, whole, etc., etc. What is that kama krodha? Means these desires and anger, these kind of things which are coming. Remember, kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhavaha. They come with great force. Your desires and your anger, they come with temptations, come with great force. So one who is able to control that, that person alone is happy. And when should he control it? Before he leaves the body, he should be capable of controlling this. Otherwise, people at the deathbed also are thinking of pleasures. And they don't want to die also. Why? Because who knows, if I live some more time, I can go to 2 more countries and eat something nice and see something nice, experience something nice. They're not willing to leave. Why? Because still desires are left. That is what our Bhartrihari says. Krishnana jirna, vayameva jirna. We become old and we become weak. Our desires never become old. Desires are same, fresh and strong even in the last moment. That is the problem with it. The one who is able to conquer these things within one's own lifetime, such a person alone can be happy. What's the point in dying and then realizing, oh, why did I not do this? Kim sadhu na karu, kim pavama karu. That regret should not be there. That regret won't be there for a person who has conquered all these within the lifetime. And what this is important shloka, it says labante brahma nirvanam brahma nirvanam rishayah shina kalmashaha chinnadvaida yatatmana sarvabhuta iterata. What do these people do? Having attained brahma nirvana, that attained that brahman sthiti, that liberation from all these desires and pettiness. Rishihi, these are rishis, means the saints and liberated ones. Shina kalmasha, all their impurities and sins have been destroyed in this wisdom. The fire of wisdom, everything is gone. You might have done past karmas also, but they also get destroyed. Remember, we in the last lecture we heard that. So chinnadvaida, all their doubts are dispelled. Yatatmanam, they are completely in control of themselves. Sarva bhuta hirata. What should they do? Sarva bhuta hiterata. They are all ever engaged in the welfare of society, the welfare of all. Those who attain Brahmagyana, those who have all their sins and impurities are destroyed, they have no more doubts left whatsoever. And they are continuously in complete control of themselves. They are always engaged in the welfare of the society. So, even if you attain wisdom, what is he telling to Arjuna? Even if you attain jnana, you must act for the sake of the betterment of others. Why do I work? I work for sarvaloka hiterataha. You must learn to work for everybody else's thing. That is what in our Gurukulam I said. 4 principles from Ramayana we have borrowed. Sarva Veda Vidaha Dhiraha Sarva Gyanopa Sampannaha Sarve Samudita Gunahi Sarva Bhuta Loka Hiterataha. Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha. Same thing. When Rama comes back from his Gurukula, Vashishta tells his father, Dasharatha, your sons are so amazing. They are full of knowledge and wisdom. They know all the Vedas, they know all the Shastra, everything. But most importantly, it tells they were engaged in the betterment and the welfare of others. So that is what I tell students. What do you study? Why do you do all the things? At the end, your goal should be to help the society. What's the use of all your knowledge just for earning money or getting promotions, becoming popular? That's a very, very low level of thinking. It should be for the betterment of the society, welfare of others. Sarva Bhuta Itarata. This is the typical quality of those who have attained Brahmagyana. They are ever engaged in the welfare of others selflessly. So what he's telling Arjuna, even through Karma Yoga, when you purify your mind and attain Brahmagyana, what will you end up doing? Not sitting in a cave in Himalayas. You will be ending up working for the welfare of the society any which ways. So work. Fight the battle, not for your sake, my sake, for the sake of dharma, for the sake of betterment of the society. Fight this. So this is how it goes on, and from here, slowly, Krishna is leading him to the next phase of Upasana. So next chapter is Dhyana Yoga, where Krishna talks about how one should meditate. Remember 3 steps. First is selfless action. Second is meditation. Third is wisdom. Same thing called as work, worship, wisdom. So work part Krishna is teaching. Now slowly he is taking towards the worship. Worship means the meditation part of the Upasana Kanda. So there is 27 and 28 shlokas which says Parshan Kritva Bahir Bahyam Chakshushuh Chayvantare Bhruvoh Prana Panav Samo Kritva Nasa Abhyantar Charino. What does he do, this yogi? He cuts himself away from all the external contacts, closes his external eyes and meditates in between the brow, in between the 2 eyes, in the center of the brow. He meditates. And what prana apano samokritva, keeping his ingoing and outgoing breath in balance. We call it a vyana state, where you are neither breathing out nor you're breathing in, you're holding your breath. Because that is the moment when your mind becomes absolutely steady. See, in meditation, holding breath is also very important. Slowly breathing is important because it calms down the mind. Watching your breath is important, but holding the breath is a very important aspect because it immediately calms your mind. Breath and mind are connected. If breath is faster, mind is agitated. It happens, excited mind, agitated mind. But when you're calmer, your breathing is slower. And if you don't breathe, mind becomes almost like without wind, the leaf falls onto the ground, dry leaf. Like that, mind settles very quickly. So this person's whole energy dwells in this nasal region where he controls his breath and controls the mind, thereby by meditating in the middle of the 2 eyes on the brow area. Yatentriya manobuddhi muni moksha parayana vigate cha bhaya krodho ya sada mukta evasaha. He says this man who is continuously engaged in this effort to control his mind and senses, such a person's mana, mind and buddhi, all these moksha parayana, all this dedicated for the sake of attaining liberation only. He's not using his faculty for any other purpose. He may work for any reason, but ultimately his goal is to attain liberation through action. And vigate cha bhaya krodha. He has given up idea of desires, fear, anger, and all the negativity. Yes, sada mukta evasa. The one who has given up it forever, such a person is free. So slowly, you see Krishna's methodology. Karma Yoga, from there he's taking him to the Upasana, to the meditative side of things. How does this yogi live? Even while he's going on, moving around, he's meditating all days on the middle of the brow, because what it means is his mind is always withdrawn into the Brahman, while his body goes on performing various kind of actions. And he knows what? Bhoktaram yajna tapsam sarvalokam heshwaram sahridam suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantimrchati. He knows that the enjoyer of all my deeds and the Lord of everything is in the heart of all beings. He is not the enjoyer. He knows that the Lord is the enjoyer who dwells in all the hearts. He is the true enjoyer of all our actions. And gyatva mam shanti mrchati. He immediately attains peace, knowing this. In Mundokamishad, there are 2 birds there, Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vrukshe parishasya jate. There are 2 birds sitting on the same tree of the same kind. One bird goes on eating fruits, bitter and sweet, and either it's happy or sad. And the other bird simply sits watching everything calm. And then this lower bird thinks, what is this secret of the happiness of the upper bird? Always calm. I am the one who is happy one day, sad another day. And slowly it tries to reach the other bird and realizes there are no two birds. That is the Lord, Isha, Sarva Bhutana. That is the Lord. So once it realizes that I am not this mind, which is the lower bird, I am the Atman, which is the higher bird. Then it forgets all its misery. It becomes strong. It becomes strong. It becomes the Lord. It is no more the slave of senses. It becomes the Lord of senses. So that is what he is saying. The one who realizes this, he attains peace immediately, that I am not this body, mind, senses complex. I am the Atman. And that Atman is same in all. And that one enjoys in the sense, that is the one for whose sake everything happens. So that is the idea, and then they attain peace immediately. And this is the meditation we'll have to learn in the Dhyana Yoga. Who is the one who is enjoying? Who is within me and within you and within everything? I must meditate on that idea. So slowly Krishna is leading our Arjuna to the next chapter, which is going to be Dhyana Yoga. That is the art of or the science of meditation or upasana. So Arjuna is being prepared for the jnana. But how patient and how good a teacher Krishna is. Arjuna loses patience every now and then. He asks, give me the shortcut, give me the shortcut. And Krishna says, yes, let me teach you, let me finish. And he goes on explaining to him, and how he gives him again and again. He tells him, see, if you get good marks, this is what will happen to you. If you get good marks, that will happen to you. Encourage. If you become a jnani, this will happen to you. If you become jnani, that will happen to you. But how to become a jnani? Fight the battle, but with the right attitude. Because we all can't run away from society into forests. It may appear easy, but actually he says in one of the shlokas, I didn't take up that shloka, but it says that sannyasa is a very difficult path. Running away from society is not easy. Imagine he has nobody to give him breakfast, lunch and dinner. He has nobody to wash, iron or prepare his clothes. He has no roof, no shelter. Falls sick, there is nobody to care and cure him. He has no pockets, no bank account, no savings, no insurance. He is totally dependent on the society at large. And imagine if everybody wants to become monk, what will happen to the society? So Grihastha is also there. You must be householder, but then what kind of householder? Who follows the path of Dharma. Not greedy, only looking after themselves, their children, their family, my. Not that kind of householder. Should have this idea that I must serve the society at large. And then eventually everybody has to become sannyasi, no choice. Jada Bharata was there. He also becomes sannyasi. But at the last moment, as I said, before you leave this earth, you must have developed control over your desires. And this Jada Bharata became sannyasi at the end, but he developed the desire to look after the poor deer. And what happened? He was born as a deer in next birth. So at the last moment also you can go wrong. We must prepare ourselves for this jnana. See, unpreparedly, many young people jump into this monkhood and sannyasa and all that stuff. That's why many of these associations like Ramakrishna Mission, they have very strict rules to accept a monk. And they don't accept for like 5-6 years, they just test and try. After that only they grant him membership. If he survives the 6 years of difficult monk's life, austerity and other things, then only they actually kind of give him a membership of the organization. Otherwise they don't give. Very important to prepare ourselves. That is preparation. Selfless action is preparation. So why this spirituality? Narendra Modi ji was speaking the other day. He said, what did Satya Sai Baba do? He dissociated spirituality from ritualistic observances and associated it with service. See how he caught that point. All other gurus, many people, they just talk about, let's meditate, let's do this, let's do that. They don't talk about selfless service. They talk about some service, but not as selfless, which will wipe every single trace of selfishness from you. That kind of service nobody recommends. Our spirituality is all about selflessness. And that's why service. Because how do we express our selflessness? In doing good to others. So this is the preparation for that higher knowledge. If we don't attain this in this birth is a waste. That's what Shankaracharya will say. It's a wasted birth. Yama will say, Mrityo sa mrityum apnoti. From death, you have gone to another death. Your birth has been a total waste, so I won't even count. Yama. He meets you at one death and then he meets you again in the next death. And you tell him, he will say, hey, you are back again in the same class. He said, yes, I failed. Oh, then you wasted your whole year. That's what happened. Same way, Yama meets you again at the next death. He says, last time I picked you up, no? Again you came back. What did you do? You didn't redeem yourself in this birth. No, I was selfish. I did not do anything. I had no control over mind, desires, senses. Back to death again. So death to death you are coming. Your birth has been a total waste. So I won't even count what you did. But I was also the president, prime minister, whoever. It doesn't matter. All that is not the qualification. That's what I was telling. When we meet the creator at the end, he's not going to ask us how many properties you had, how many children you had, grandchildren you had, how many things you did in the world. He's just going to ask how many people you loved, how many people you served. You did nothing, then you did not, then everything is a waste. And that is how we must live in the world. Sarva bhuta lidhite rataha. That is the key sentence. We must do everything for the sake of others, for welfare of others. In that others' welfare, our welfare will be looked after. We will be redeemed too because of purification of our mind. So that is the essence of the 5th chapter. More or less, we have come to the concepts of karma yogas are coming to an end. So we have understood karma yoga means performing actions with perfection in it, with the utmost abilities, capacities, no laziness, no slackness. Do it to the best of your ability. And still not demand the results to be of a certain kind. Doing duties in your right, results you have no right on. At the same time, you cannot say that I don't want to perform action because anyway I don't have any rights on the result. No, you have to still perform action. For what sake? For the sake of betterment of welfare of others, like Janaka and others have done. So don't do duty with love. Do love without duty. That is spirituality. Duty with love is good. Love without duty is spirituality. From there he goes on to say that the people who do this, we are all born with certain gunas, and we should follow that path of gunas. And if you are born to be a teacher, be a teacher. If you're born to be a doctor, be a doctor. Through that also you can attain redemption, provided your attitude is right. And you see God in everything, you see equalness in everything. You develop that kind of vision. Don't differentiate, discriminate, don't be selfish. Do everything for the higher good of others. In that goodness, your mind will become pure. Once your mind becomes pure and steady, you will attain that wisdom. Once you have become wise, there is no doing, no enjoying. Everything happens through you. You become the witness of all actions. You are untouched, untainted, unbound by any of it. This is the essence of all of Karma Yoga. So we must act in this world, but act in a selfless way. That is the essence. And how beautiful, see all the organizations, we have now 30 foundations, so much we are doing. What does it help you with? It helps you with opportunities to do selfless work. Otherwise, left to yourself, how many of you will work like this selflessly? So these organizations have been created, and I insist that everybody participates in these organizations or any other organization where you find your heart, where you find fulfillment. But the essence is you must do selfless work all the time. So whatever, even if you're eating, sleeping, everything also you should think, I'm doing this so that I can be healthy, I can have a good mind, I can learn new things, and through that I can help others. Everything should ultimately be motivated for the sake of helping others. Even your personal needs should be looked after so that you can help others. If you are sick, unhealthy, how will you help others? If you don't study, how will you help others? So everything should be at the end, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. Because even the Lord himself comes down and does the same thing for the sake of the welfare of the world. Otherwise, he has no duty. That is how we have to work. So with that, more or less, the chapter is ending. We'll take up Dhyana Yoga once the chapter shlokas are over. Once again, this is a special session because this comes not from India but from Fiji. And it's a beautiful country with beautiful people, very happy people, always singing, always smiling, and very deeply rooted in their ancient traditional value system. And I think the world needs more and more people like these, good people. We don't need policies, we need no politics. We don't need wars, we don't need sanctions. We just need goodness. More and more of goodness will take care of this world. And all these efforts are just to make us better human beings, good people who can spread this goodness. And the impact of it is infinite. You never know an act of goodness, how impactful it can be. You can only do good and forget, as they say. But that good will inspire somebody and will set in motion a chain reaction of goodness. It will spread to the whole world, and that's how the world will improve. This is our effort. For that, first we have to purify our mind and through selflessness. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is so important to lead our lives in the right way.